Hey, it's Dee with Guided Seeker, bringing you stories from abroad. Our very first guest is one of my dear friends and current curators here at Guided Seeker, Veronica. When we can all travel again, she's going to be taking us on a culinary adventure through Sicily. Veronica is a translator, a chef, a children's yoga and mindfulness teacher, a Reiki master, and just an all around creative. She's joining us from her home right now in Germany. Veronica, how are you?
Thank you. Kind of melting because it's really hot in Germany right now, but I don't want to complain. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm glad it's summer. It's becoming summer soon. It makes this whole situation with COVID just a little bit more tolerable, you know? But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
the new good, the weird, the good at the same time. So tell me, Veronica, I'm so excited to hear about this story that you're going to share with us. What has been a travel experience that has, really impacted you?
I mean, there has definitely been several stories that have impacted me, all of them in a different way. But like from the top of my head, the first one that comes into my mind is definitely the ones that I had during my trip through South America. I took it in 2016 when I was 30.
Mm,
I was a little bit more than 5 months traveling through South America. And actually, I did it before I went and moved to Australia to go and work in Australia. So I just wanted a last little adventure before moving there. And I picked out South America.
that sounds great. I love South America and Central America, so I'm with you on that. So tell me, were you running away from something or were you running towards something?
I love when people ask me those questions. I was definitely not running away from something. I would rather say that I was running towards something because I was in a point of my life where I was trying to dig deeper into my spiritual side. I grew up in a very Catholic family. My parents are all Catholic. Like, I mean, we're Italians, so you can imagine hardcore Catholics there. And
Exactly.
yeah, it happened for a while that I was reading like books from Paulo Coelho and Dalai Lama. I was tapping more and more into my spiritual side, and so I thought, you know what, South America is the right destination for me
Hmm.
to go and see what's hidden behind all this. So I was running towards something for sure.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I mean, it's all in the same almost, you know? But so you were running towards your spirituality, and so where did you start on your trip, and why did you choose that place? Did you think it was
So
more spiritual
yeah,
than?
oh yeah. So I started in Colombia. I started by myself. So I went by myself. A friend came actually and met me after a week that I was there. And but like the first really impactful moment was besides that I love Colombia. The moment that I put foot on Colombian ground was when I did the Lost City trek, which
Hmm.
is in Tayrona Park or
Hmm.
near there. It was a 3-day hike going up to this spiritual place where the Kogis still live. It's like yeah, it's like the Indians of Colombia,
Hmm.
and they always go up there also do like their retreats and get in touch with nature, with Mother Nature. And yeah, that was like super impactful because I got into my hiking love again. I did a lot of hikes when I was little with my parents, and that was the first hike that I did as an adult by myself, and I
Wow.
really loved it. Yeah, it was amazing. So it was a 3-day hike. Um, every time you finished the hike, so you had like a specific amount of hours that you had to hike that day. Once you finished that and you arrived at the sleeping point, there was like this amazing waterfall, and then you just jump into the waterfall, just chill there because you can imagine Colombia, it's like super hot. So I was always like, we were sweating
Yeah.
like hell, and we were just happy to have the shower, so to speak, in the waterfall. And it was just bliss, honestly. And then at night, you either slept in a hammock or one of those bunk beds. Everything was provided for. You got your food, the water, the like fruit in between, also in between the hikes. And yeah, it was just nice. The people that I met like my lifelong travel companion, Tiana from Canada. We met there, and
Sweet.
since then we have been traveling in different places.
Together,
And
just all over the world?
yeah, we did Canada together. We did Europe last year. We did twice actually, Canada
Wow.
and Spain. So yeah, it's always good to have her. She's like my hiking buddy and travel adventure buddy as well. It's really, really
Oh,
good.
you have to go through certain things to really to travel somewhere with somebody all over the
Yeah.
world after one
Yeah.
experience. So she must have been a good travel partner.
Oh,
So you guys,
definitely.
so you guys got to the top of this hike, and
Yeah.
so what was that like for you? Like, what did it feel like?
It was breathtaking, honestly. Like I got there and I was like, I don't know. It was like I was taking in all the energy that I could feel there because it was a spiritual place. And I remember like everyone was taking pictures, in a group and everything. And I was like, no, I just need time by myself. So after taking 2 or 3 group pictures, I just kind of distantiated myself from the group.
Mhm.
And I just sat there on one of the peaks up there, and I could see like the whole valley,
Yeah,
and it's like you could really, or I at least, could feel like the energy, the vibration of nature there. And it was so funny because while I was sitting there and I was meditating, actually, I started meditating a bit. All of a sudden, like a dog came next to me and a butterfly. And butterfly is always
yeah,
like my spiritual animal. Every time I meditate and I kind of talk to the universe and ask for guidance about something, I always see a butterfly. And so that was like just like
that's
thinking about it, like
amazing.
yeah. And it was really nice. So I just stayed there a little bit, meditated a bit, and
Hmm.
just took in all the energy, the sound of nature. It was one of a kind. And then we even had the possibility to meet some of the people from the Kogi tribe, the Mama, which
Wow.
is like the spiritual person.
Hmm.
And it's really funny because they don't look into your eyes. They say that they don't want to see the dark side of somebody. And
Damn. Could you imagine just him just looking straight at you? And then, like that's a very private, like you could just see right through you. It's a very private and intimidating
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Like, are you gonna like me afterwards? Like, so
So
what did he
that
look you in the eye or what's good? Like, what happened?
no, so he didn't. He didn't look me in the eye. I was really, as I told you, I was on my spiritual kind of journey. So I was talking to our guide and telling him, hey, is it possible to perhaps chat with him a little bit by myself? And so I was able to just have like a quick kind of chat with him, but
Mm.
still he wasn't really looking into my eyes that time. But actually, he told me, "Hey, you know what? If you're really interested in knowing more about your spiritual path, you're more than welcome." So he invited me, which they
Wow.
usually really don't do because they don't like to have foreigners up there. He invited me to stay like for 1 or 2 nights up there once I finished my hike and everything, to just go and stay with them. So it was
That's
a
incredible.
very big honor,
That is
definitely.
super. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what did you stay with them like after your hike?
Well, you know how life is. Things
You
then
got
take a different
scared,
turn.
girl. You got scared.
No, I didn't. No, yeah, I didn't want him to see my dark side. No, I really wanted to do it, but then you know how it is when you travel. Just like one thing leads to the other,
Mhm.
and so I didn't end up going there. But I did actually meet another of those mamas because you have like different
Oh.
ones,
Mhm.
and it was when I was in Santa Marta,
Mhm.
which is like the beach side in Colombia. I was just coming back from like a hike with my friend that came to visit me in Colombia. We were just like hiking along the coast, and there was this mama there, and it's not that I even didn't see him. It's not that I went up to him and asked him something. Like the guy came to me, and he just said, "Here, I wanted to give you this bracelet." And actually, he also gave me like a little stone to always keep with me and like put it in my pocket. And yeah, so and he looked into my eyes. So that was like,
No.
oh my God.
Are you sure? Okay, so I know this is strange, but I'm glad that you're telling me this because
Yeah.
when I was in Colombia, a friend of mine
Yeah.
was doing a documentary in the country, and so I met up with him. He had all these spiritual, like he had all these like producers, and you know, and there was a conversation about spirituality and spiritual people within
Yeah.
Colombia, and ironically, he was saying, this guy that I was talking to, he was saying that you need to be careful because some of the spiritual people that they spoke to said that they go, but some of the people within their community go to the sacred places and hand out these bracelets, but have those bracelets have negative energy, negative voodoo on them because they're annoyed that tourists keep coming into their sacred spots. So they want to just sort of cast them away and give them spells, essentially.
What?
Yeah, no, I'm serious. I mean, I'm not saying that the mama came up to you and gave you some negative voodoo, but did he give you negative
So he
voodoo?
did see my dark side. He did see my dark side and wanted me to get rid of.
Oh,
No, but I
my
don't know.
God.
Like in Colombia, nothing happened. It was smooth sailing through Colombia. Like I didn't get sick. I met amazing people. I did amazing connections, and it was just like one adventure after the other. So, but it did actually. After that, we went to Peru, and that's where it started that I was getting sick. So perhaps it could be that there was a bad spell just for outside of Colombia.
Yeah, like I don't want to negatively impact my own country, so the bad voodoo gotta go to you when you leave.
Can you imagine?
Oh no, I cannot imagine. So you had a really impactful time in Colombia. Did you have any more moments during your trip or experiences during your trip that really moved you?
Oh God, definitely. I mean, it was 5 months traveling, and I think I was in general in this place where I was open to like sucking in everything that was coming towards me. So
Yeah.
everything was special for me, even when I was sick, so to speak.
Yeah.
But another impactful moment was definitely when I was in Peru. I did the Alfangante track. I don't know if you know it. It's this track that you do. It's like 5 days hiking up in order to get to the Rainbow Mountain. It's like
Oh
a
yeah.
5,000
Mhm.
meter. And I mean, like everyone does the track, to go to Machu Picchu. We didn't do that because we didn't want to have like a touristy hike. I mean, we did the Machu Picchu, but we didn't do the hike up. We just went there and that's it. But it didn't really impact me much. It was really weird. Like I remember we arrived there. It was me and Tiana, as I said, my friend, my travel buddy. Because when we met, we then decided to travel together for a little bit longer, which actually turned out to be like 1.5 months. But so when we arrived there, like she was like on this quest and hiking up and down and checking out the site. And I just like, I don't know, I didn't feel it. I just sat down, took my diary and started writing in my travel diary. I mean, it's super amazing to see what people have created up there. Like that's for sure. But it didn't have a spiritual impact on me. Like nothing compared to what I felt, like the vibrations, the energy when I was in Colombia at the other hike that I was talking about before.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of pressure to feel things when you're at these really, sacred places. I mean, Machu Picchu is one of the world, I mean, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, right? So I think that people want to feel something, and they try to force themselves into feeling these things when actually spirituality and any of those feelings are supposed to be natural. You don't have to feel anything just because I think one is expected to, so you didn't
Yeah.
feel it. I mean, that's totally normal. I think I don't think there's anything wrong with that whatsoever. There's nothing weird about you.
No, but you know how it is. Everyone talks about Machu Picchu, and then I was on this spiritual quest, so I was like, oh, this must be amazing. But I mean, whatever. I still enjoyed it and I loved it. And but actually, yeah, the other hike that we did, the Alfangante trek, was just amazing. So and it was definitely an adventure because that really changed me totally. Like the things that I learned during that hike is just one of a kind, definitely. So just to give you like some background information. So when you get into Peru, they always say to start like in Cusco or Lima, whatever, but Cusco in order to get used to the altitude. So we stayed, I think it was almost a week to get used to the altitude there in Cusco.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually didn't know about this hike. My dad actually, he told me about it, and he was like, hey, you know, there's this Rainbow Mountain. So I looked it up, and I told Tiana about it, and she's like the hike professional, so to speak. She's Canadian. She's used to be in the mountains.
Oh, you know those Canadians.
So she looked into it, and she was like, oh, there's like this amazing hike we can do. It's like 5 days, sleep in a tent, whatever. I'm like, okay, I'm down for it. And we were talking about this in the dorm. So yeah, definitely don't talk in a dorm in a hostel with 12 people. I think it was even more than 12 people that we were back then. Because there was this guy who came up to us and said, oh, that sounds like an amazing hike. Can I join? And I was like, sure. I don't know you, but okay.
Oh no, man. It always goes down like that in the dorms, man. You just talk about one thing. It's like, oh, well, can I join you for the rest of your trip? And we are going to sleep in the same room together, right? And you're just like, no, man. Fine.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Well, you know what it is. When you're on these trips, you're usually, hopefully, most of the people should be open to these encounters. So, yeah, there was this Australian guy that wanted to come on this trip. And so we were, you know, we met him a little bit better, like, you know, we got to know him. He seemed really nice. So we started planning the trip. So as it is in South America, Tiana and I, we want to do it with an agency to have like a guide that does it with us. And he was like, oh, no, don't worry. We'll just wing it. We'll do it by ourselves and all that. And I was like, I don't know. It's like a 5-day hike, you know, and it's not that you are like in Canada. So when you do a hike, everything has like, you know, like a sign where to go next. It's rough and white in South America, and that's what I like.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm like, I'd rather have a guide, you know?
Yeah.
And
agreed.
Since in Colombia, we had some other hikes that we've done, and we've seen how the signage is. We said, no, better go to an agency. So we started this quest, going to different agencies, but each agency was telling us something different. Not about the price that much. It was more about like the way we would be able to hike up there. So we were like, this is kind of weird. So then we tried to find, you know, you have a lot of blogs online. So we were trying to find what's the best hike to do as well. And so we then found actually a path to do, but not the right agency that wanted to do that exact hike with us. Because what the agency wanted to do is either just get a bus, bring you up there, and then you just hike up the mountain, or just do like a hike of 2 days. But we wanted to have the adventure, big one. So Ashley all the time was like, oh, we'll do it by ourselves. Don't worry, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, Ashley, we're not going to do that. I mean, this is not happening. So anyway, we got ready. What we decided is, okay, whatever. We'll get ready. We get all of our stuff. And then in order to start the hike, what you need to do is take a bus and go to like the bottom of this mountain. We then start the hike up. And they have told us actually that when you go to this little town village that is on the bottom of the mountain, sometimes there are guides that can bring you up. So we're like, okay, we'll see what we can do and see what we find. So you know how South America is. It is already an adventure to get all the gear together. You go to places and rent out tents and boots, whatever. And thank God we didn't have to rent out boots. Like we had our own ones, or I bought new ones actually for that hike. And but yeah, so we got our tent, we got our food. I was responsible for the food since I was the one cooking. Yeah. Actually, it's so funny because we went to the market, got all our props, and we got 800 grams of nuts per person for 5 days. I'm like, when are you gonna eat almost 800, like almost a kilo of nuts during a hike? I don't know. We had way too much food anyway, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember like the day before the hike, I panicked because I don't know why I lost my nuts or somebody stole them. Could also be, you know, how it is in hospitals, you know? So I panicked. I said, sorry guys, I cannot do the hike. I don't have my nuts.
Trips off. I'm out. Can't find my nuts. Gotta go.
But I don't know. It's like I was really afraid because of the altitude, because I have one lung that doesn't work properly, like not at 100%. And I mean, I was prepared because I had also my oxygen bottle that I bought at the pharmacy. So I mean, but it's just, you know how it is when you're afraid, the fear always stops you. And so this is
you're looking for every little excuse to like not do it. You know, you're like, oh, I don't have this. I can't go. Yeah, I know.
I definitely learned I definitely learned like the more I am afraid of something, that's when I really know I have to do it. So after that trip, like when I was confronted with something that really like was that I was anxious about and I didn't know if I could do it, that's when I said, okay, I need to pull it together, like get your shit together, so to speak, and do it. And the reward is just amazing. So nuts aside, whatever, we then the next day we went and got on the bus. And actually on the bus itself, so funny, there was this guy who started talking to us and he was a guide. And so we were asking him some advice for this hike, and we were asking him, hey, would you be available to do the hike with us? And he was like, no, because I already did the hike and I just want to stay a few days with my family. And I mean, us from Europe were like, come on, like we're paying you, you're making money that you can bring back home, and you don't want to work, you know? So we were like, oh, that's kind of weird. Yeah. No, definitely. At the end, it is totally fair because, you know, it's like, it's not all about money, guys. Honestly, it's like, I mean, I left a real well-paid job in fashion a few years before just because of that, because it was like the money's not making me happy that I have in my bank account. There's something else out there that is fulfilling me. Yeah. So I totally get it, and good on him, definitely, because it's much more valuable to stay some days with your family and your kids and whatever. So okay, we got to that market that is in that little town at the bottom of the mountain. We asked, I don't know how many guides. They all turned us down. We were like, okay, guys, so I guess we have to do it by ourselves. But we, like Tiana and I, we were really kind of, we're like, it's not that we were afraid, but we were just saying, hey, like we know our limits. This is not supposed to be then. And Ashley was like, oh, we'll just swing it, don't worry, girls, whatever, blah, 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 you know. I'm like, oh, I don't know. And then actually the guy that was on the bus, he was there and he came up to us and he's like, you know what? I actually, if you want, I can do it, but I cannot do the first part with you because I really need to go home. I need to be with my wife for one night. But you know what? Just take the transport, go up to the mountain to this position, hike up 3-4 hours, sleep there in a tent, and then the next morning just wait there for me and I'll come and pick you up. And we were like,
no,
yeah, sure.
Oh God, I hate that. How is that even possible? Just meet me here. I don't know. Just meet me up there in the mountain. I promise I'll be there.
Yeah, because I mean, we don't know this guy.
Yeah,
who knows if he's really showing up? Do we really find the spot where we are supposed to sleep that night? You know, we're like, okay, but we said it's an adventure. Let's try, you know, at least let's hike up there. So it starts with, we thought, okay, it's going to be like a bus that's going to bring us up there where we have to get there. Well, it was a 1-hour ride, not in a bus, but you know those pickup trucks where you put where you put chickens in it or pigs, whatever. So
you mean everything. Everything goes in those trucks.
Everything that is alive. So we were there. I felt like as if they were trying to sell us. That's how I felt. We were there. This truck was filled with people, with Peruvian people. All these tiny people with these beautiful, colorful dresses and hats. Yeah. It was like, and us 3 gringos, you know, we were like, compared to them, we were super tall anyway. And we were just like holding, like standing there and just waiting to get there because we thought it's just like a 10-minute drive, and then it was like an hour drive. Anyway,
yeah, let's be clear. Let's be clear. You are a tall woman. I mean, I know I'm short, but you are very tall for a average people of 5 feet. I can't imagine
Well,
a
imagine for
Canadian,
Peruvians.
you, and yeah, someone from Australia just like, hey.
Oh
All right,
God.
so
It
you're on this truck.
Yeah, so we arrived to the point and the driver was like, okay, this is where you need to start, hike up. We get there and it was raining. So I was already hating my life. I was like, okay, I was going to not do this hike yesterday. And now, because I was dreading the thing of hiking with a big backpack, you know,
Yeah.
filled with nuts and quinoa and whatever of food. And then we get there and it's starting raining. I was like, oh my God, and it's going to be like a 3-4 hour hike up there, you know? I was like, freaking hell. And it was like this the whole time. And it was just muddy. It's not a road, it's muddy.
God
So,
damn it.
well, we started our hike. I was hating my life. I was so bad on Tiana. She was like trying, you know, like to convince me. She's like, hey, come on, you can do it. Good job, whatever. And I was like, Tiana, just don't talk to me. Like, I needed to be focused because I didn't want to like be rude to her, but I just needed some time to myself. She was being nice, you know. But in that moment,
but you had to be you were like, shut up.
Well, it brought us closer, definitely. And I'm so thankful that we did this hike anyway. So anyway, we hiked up there the 3-4 hours, arrived to this spot. We hoped that it was the spot. It looked like it. There was nothing. There was just like a little river running through and 2 like little, it's not houses, but just like huts,
shelters.
You know how it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like mountain shelters.
Yeah, we tried to get in one of those because it was really cold. I mean, we were all wet from the hike, you know, and we needed to get food and everything. So the one was closed. There was another one that was open, but there was nothing except for actually a dirty mattress. So somebody has been sleeping there. And there was like a big table and just like a bench. So we're like, okay, that's perfect. It was cold as hell. But we're like, okay, at least we can stay in here. And if we put the burner on and heat up the water to do the quinoa, perhaps it will heat us up a little bit. Because we didn't want to do a fire in the hut, you know. So the guys were taking care of the tent, and I then just started cooking. Yeah, and it was nice. It was very cold, of course, because we were all drenched from the hike. So we changed into our clothes to go and sleep. That was a little bit warm at least. We ate, we played some cards, things that you do in order to just like, you know, do something else before you go to sleep. You kind of go to sleep at 8 o'clock, so to speak. What was really nice is that when we got outside and then had to wash our dishes, like, oh man, like the sky was amazing. Like you had amazing stars that you can see, the view, it was worth it, you know?
Yeah.
I totally forgot the moments where I was hating my life, so to speak, going up there. So yeah, so we get into the tent where we found out that we had a few holes in the tent. So we were already kind of a bit annoyed, but it is what it is when you have like those rental tents. And then just to have like the icing on the cake, all of a sudden Ashley said, oh, I totally forgot my mat. Tiana and I, we look at each other. Is he freaking kidding me? It's like cold outside.
Somebody else. They forgot their mats on a cold mountain?
Yes. And he was like totally as if it's normal. Well, but we could just use the two that you have and just put them, you know, like long ways, and then we just sleep on it. I was like, freaking hell, is this guy kidding me? Like, I even don't know him. He's not my friend. And then I even have to be like on the cold, like some part of my body is going to be on the cold soil. Oh, so we didn't go to sleep with positive vibes, for sure. And then for me, it was super weird because all of a sudden, like at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, I woke up like this, like,
oh no,
and I couldn't breathe, and I was like, oh my god, the altitude hit me because it got super high. It was like above 4,000 something already. But I mean, I did have my oxygen bottle, but I was like, no, I have to do it by myself. So I don't know. I just started meditating, and it calmed me down, and then I went to sleep again. And then the next morning, we wake up. I was like, okay, I'm gonna open up, and then I'm there. I'm trying to open up the zipper, and it's not working. So internally, I was already hating the guy again for not giving us only a tent with holes, but also where the zipper is broken. We cannot open. And I
Yeah.
was like, damn it, you know, and Tiana was like, oh, this dude, what a man. And then all of a sudden, I was like, wait a minute, guys. Actually, no, it is working. I just wasn't open to open it. I wasn't able to open it up right away because during the night, it started snowing.
No.
So on our tent, we had like this much of snow. And it was so heavy that I couldn't open it. Oh my God. I was like, I didn't know what to think. I was like, okay, it's an amazing view when you open up the tent and you see the mountains covered with snow. But then at the same time, I was thinking, okay, we're up here. We don't know if the guy's really coming, and what I'm gonna do.
You're gonna freeze your ass off.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So anyway, we get going. We try to get our tent also dry because I mean, you need to get it dry because if not, it's gonna be horrible. It's 9 o'clock when the guy was supposed to come, and not coming. 9:15, nobody's coming. 9:20, nobody's coming. And I was like, okay, cool. This is amazing. Yeah. You know, I was totally into the hiking thing, and now this is what the universe is sending me.
I mean, because it's just like that in Central America and South America. Actually, in so many places where they're like, meet you there, promise, I'll meet you there this time, and it's never on time. It's always an hour or 2 hours later when you've had like you've literally are losing your last will to survive. You know, you're just like, all right, I'm about to just lay on the ground and die. You know, and then here they come. You know, here they show up. You know, so.
But then all of a sudden, I think it was Ashley was like, hey, I see someone there with the horse. Because actually, when we talked to the guy, he said, I will come with the horse so that you can put the backpacks on the horse. And I was like, well, that's pretty neat, you know? And he was there. Finally, it's like, you know, like the light came, the knight in shining armor, so to speak. Yeah. So, that's when then the hike started in the snow. And the guy was like, I was the only one speaking Spanish, and he was talking to me the whole time. Actually, he wasn't that chatty, but at least he talked a little bit. And he was like, well, do you have sunglasses? And I was like, yeah, in the hostel, not with me, of course. He's like, oh, Veronica, si tú no tienes algo para tus ojos, if you don't have anything for your eyes, it's going to be really bad for you. And I was like, damn it, you know, like I didn't think of it, but I didn't think of like hitting also snow up there, you know?
Yeah.
So what we were doing, me and Tiana, we were always switching. Like she would use her glasses and then I would use it for a little bit. We both had like hats on anyway, because that's what I learned as well. Always have a hat with you when you go hiking, because it's always useful, be it for sun, be it for rain, for everything.
Yeah.
So that was good, you know, and we were enjoying it. It was going nice. And I mean, it's just like what I saw, like the mountains, to be on a mountain, it's just amazing. Like it gives you goosebumps. Like we were hiking through snow, through rain, with sunshine, all the different colors that you see. And it's just funny because you have like this, lagoons, everything.
Wow.
Like the water was crystal clear. Wow. It's like, and then, so it was breathtaking. And that already was enough for me. I was just so happy to see all that, you know, like ever changing colors and everything. Every time you like turn around on the mountain, you're like, oh, this is totally different from before, you know. It was just amazing. And then, you know, we were like all geared up with all our shit together, and then you see like these Peruvian people, you know, just like with their sandals, having a baby in the back and just walking, because that's what they do the whole day, you know. They have to walk from one side to the other side of the mountain just to check on their llamas or whatever. And I was like, yeah, you are badass, and we're just total morons that we think we need to have all this gear with us, you know, to make this hike.
Yeah.
But it was amazing. And then, so when we arrived at the bottom of the rainbow colored mountain, it started snowing and hailing. so we needed to wait a little bit. So we were trying to find like a refuge in one of the huts that we found, that we just opened up because nobody was there. Because we were like, okay, we cannot hike up there. It was 5,400 meters. We cannot hike up there with the hail and with the snow. Like, we were already dead because we already hiked a lot that day. So we just waited, and it didn't seem like stopping. We were like, okay, guys, I guess we need to go through this. So then we just started going up, and oh my God, it was really hard. It was definitely hard. And then when we got up there, everyone that was actually on the mountain was just getting down. So we had the whole view up there by ourselves. It was still snowing when we got up there, and then after a while it stopped snowing. It was breathtaking deep. It was like, so for people that don't know what the colored mountains are, it's like this valley of mountains, they all have like they have like stripes, and each stripe has a different color. So it's like red, blue, yellow, green, depending how the sun, of course, hits it, you know, it changes.
That's amazing.
But it was just amazing. You get up there while it's snowing, which is cool as hell, and then all of a sudden it stops snowing, and then you see the whole valley by yourself. And I was so touched, actually, because I remember I got up there, and the first thing that I did is taking a video for my dad, because my dad was the one actually telling me about the hike, you know. So for me, God, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. For me, it was like I was doing the hike for my dad as well, you know. So I just did like a little video for him and saying, hey, I made it, and we made it together.
That's so sweet.
It was just sweet. Amazing, honestly. It's unbelievable. I'm so happy that I did it.
Was he so proud of you when you sent him the video?
Yeah, I hope. At least it looked like it. I don't remember, it was long ago, but I remember that he was super happy about it. That's for sweet, sure. Yeah. And so yeah, so this hike really showed me like the harder it gets, just do it, you know, because the reward is immense. But then just to add a little bit more to the adventure.
Oh, you got to go down.
Yeah. Well, we went down, which was fine. But then we had another day to do. But since it was raining the whole time, our tent was not dry. So we were like, well, we cannot sleep in a wet tent. And it didn't, like, the sky was all covered. So there was like no glimpse of light. And we're like, damn it, guys, like, what do we do? So our guide, he was like, well, you know, I live on the other side of this mountain over there. We can hike up and we can sleep in my house. We're like, oh, that's amazing, you know, like super nice. We're like, okay. He was like, but we need to hike up like for 11, 12 hours straight. We were like, okay.
Especially after those days.
Yeah, and it was raining, and there was hail as well. And it was so stormy. Like, when I re-looked at the pictures, I was like, there's like this one picture where it's like all three of us, like Ashley, Tian, and I, like all dead like this on the mountain, because it was going like this up. Like, it was no zigzag. It was just straight up. Like, when he meant it's on the other side of the mountain, it was literally on the other side of the mountain. Oh, it was, and he was like totally fine. He was just chewing on his coca leaf sometimes, you know, and that's it. I was like, like, this is just amazing, like the difference between us. So yeah, so we also had that little adventure where we were just like hiking up through rain, hail, everything, storm, and but then finally we got to his place, and super nice, like super rural, you know, like those huts that they have. They have like one hut was like the bathroom, the other one was to sleep, and then you know how it is in South America, you often have like the kitchen is kind of the living room, because that's the only room that is heated, because you cook with open fire, and that's where people always sit around the fire and eat. Yeah. And I remember getting up there, and the first thing I see was like these dried pieces of meat on just like this hook outside of the houses. I was like, yeah. And then we get into the house. His wife was there, super nice, super friendly. And then he's like, oh, I'm going to cook for you, because the other nights I was cooking. Because he didn't bring anything with him on the hike. Super weird. Like, he was going to just do the hike and not eating. So we gave him like oats with banana and some quinoa with carrots. You know, we're just feeding him. And he was like, oh, I'll cook for you. I said, okay, but please use the food that we still have. He did this amazing quinoa soup, actually. I don't remember the recipe, but it was amazing. I don't know if it was just amazing or we were so tired that everything was amazing anyway, you know?
Yeah, no, it's like the camping food. It's like everything tastes like the best meal. Like you're like, I need to know this recipe. And then when you get down back to the world and you try to recreate the camping meal, it just doesn't taste as good, you know?
Yeah, I know. It's the reward of the day, you know, the meal. But I remember while we were sitting around the fire, there were like some guinea pigs running around. And I remembered in Peru, they eat guinea pigs. And it's not that I was vegan, but I was vegetarian, like pescatarian. I do eat fish, but I didn't eat meat by that time. And like Tiana looked at me and she was like, oh my God, are we going to eat this? And he saw her look towards me and he is like, oh no, sorry guys. He was telling me like, sorry guys, we cannot eat them because they're too small. I was like, well, not sorry. I'm happy. I don't want to kill this cute guinea pig, honestly.
They're so cute. They're the cutest. And then you're like, your dinner. Oh.
No, but it was amazing. Like we had a nice chat with them, with his wife as well. We slept on these hay beds. It's just like hay stuck, you know, and then just like 10,000 blankets. I think I had like on top of us, Tian and I, we were sleeping in one bed. We had like 10 blankets, so you can imagine how heavy they are, because it's not like
how cold it was too.
Cold. Yeah,
you need those 10 blankets.
You had 10 kilos of blankets on you. But it was so friendly of them, super nice, you know, of just letting us into their house, opening the door to us and welcoming us. And then the next morning, he overheard us saying the day before that Tiana loves banana pancakes, or pancakes with dulce de leche. So when we woke up, he had made pancakes with dulce de leche to eat. Like, that's super nice.
So nice. Oh my God.
An amazing person.
What a sweet guy that you had, and a sweet trip. Someone to take you on that mountain in such a you know, caring way. Although he didn't have any food, which is crazy.
I would love to see this guy. Yeah, I would love to see this guy. He was super nice. He wasn't very chatty at the beginning, but then after a while he opened up. And I still have his card, so whoever needs to go to South America, I'm happy to give his name to everyone. He was amazing. I loved him. It was an amazing hike. Listen, like there, it wasn't the spiritual side of it. It was more about pushing my limits and overcoming my fears, and just also go with the flow, you know, because we started the hike not knowing what was happening. And the more you're in tune with just letting the universe decide what needs to happen for you, the best outcomes start. It was amazing. Like, honestly, right now, just talking about it, I feel like as I've just finished the hike again. That's how amazing it is.
Yeah, that's incredible. But don't you also find that to be incredibly spiritual? I mean, to go with the flow is to be that's spiritual. You know what I mean? To push yourself and you know, really find out the sort of like inner workings of your being, like pushing through the fear. That's incredibly spiritual. So I you know, it doesn't have to be in Machu Picchu, you know, it doesn't have to be in these places where like, you know, where they say things are sacred. It's like those moments that you experience going on this, you know, on this hike, on this mountain that isn't this like well-known hike necessarily, you know, it's not the Inca Trail, but yeah, it's incredibly spiritual what you experience, and that's why it's so moving. That's why it's so impactful, you know.
And especially, I just think like throughout the whole trip, the more you're in tune, in tune with yourself, and the more you're open to everything, the more you really attract the people and the situations that you really want. Like the whole trip, of course, I had hiccups and obstacles, but most of the time, like the universe really conspired to get me and bring me in the places that I really needed to go to, because I had nothing planned. I just knew that I was flying to Colombia and that I needed to be back in Germany by a specific month, because I had my flight to go back, like to go to Australia. Actually, I had a wedding actually in Germany that I also wanted to attend. So I said, okay, let's see. I definitely want to be back for of course, also the wedding. But that was it. I had nothing planned. I didn't know that I was going there and whatever. So it's just go with the flow, and the universe will get you whatever you need, you know? Like the more you're in
Exactly.
your head, the more you think of, oh no, I shouldn't do this, the more you attract obstacles as well in life. And
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
amazing. Like
That's
South
awesome.
America is just the bomb, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel that same, I feel the same things, you know, about South America. And that's the thing
Yeah,
too about the whole spiritual thing. It's like you don't have to look for it. You just have to be, you know? It
yeah.
will come. It's all around, it's all around us, you know, I think anyway. You know, and just
Mm,
being inside of your own body and just experiencing life as it comes, there's nothing more, you know,
mm.
like there's nothing more than that. I mean, you cannot help but to have those kinds of moments at you because you were just living in the world, you know, and you were taking the signs and you're following your heart, you know, and listening to your intuition, you know, and pushing through
Yeah,
the
I'm
fear.
just immensely grateful for this trip. Like South America, I have so many highlights of this trip, but those were the two that just popped into my mind. But all the
I
other
know. I wish
countries
we
that I
can.
saw,
Yeah, I wish we could dive into all of your stories.
perhaps another time.
Perhaps another time. Yeah. So, but I really appreciate you sharing this experience with all of us. And I know it's super helpful for people who have never traveled before or haven't traveled in this capacity. You know, because everybody thinks, you know, that they can't. A lot of people think that can't do it. And yeah, I mean, you just have to. You just go through it. You go through all of the emotions of everybody feels fear. People think that about myself, that I just travel so much. It's so easy for me, but every single time it's a mission, you know, and I have to
Yeah,
push myself through it. Every time
yeah,
I get on a plane because I have a fear of flying, like I have
yeah,
to tell myself as I'm like tapping and like
yeah,
super hate flying, you know? And every time I go someplace, I go through the same experience, you know? And so you have to be able to push through that fear in order to have, like you said, to have the biggest rewards, you know? And
yeah.
it's not that, you know, without that fear, what do you feel on the other side of that, you know? Like
Correct.
it's an amazing accomplishment to get through it, you know, and you're like, I'm the best. I conquered. No, it's not you conquered, but yeah.
And then you want more afterwards. So
Of
once you
course.
become one fear and you see what you can accomplish, then you want more. So it can only go up, you know. That's a good
Yeah, and
thing.
that's why
Well,
we're travelers for life.
yeah, thank you for asking me to share my stories. I'm happy to
Of,
share more. So
yeah,
whenever
of
you
course.
want.
Well, yeah,
Live
always. You're always
all
welcome.
my yeah.
What'd you say? I sorry, I didn't hear the last thing you said.
Uh, oh, and I said thank you, and I'm always happy to like relive all my trips. Definitely.
Well, thank you for sharing them. We appreciate you having you here on Stories from Abroad. All right, we
My
will
pleasure.
see you. It was great to talk to you, and we'll check. I'll check in soon. Thanks again.
Perfect. Lots of love.
Ciao to you,
Ciao.
lady.
Ciao.